All right, hello, my name is Connor Dennhardt, and I'm a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in El Paso, Texas. My presentation today will highlight the operational impacts to the southwestern United States airspace due to convective activity within the Newman Gap. So thanks for checking it out, and I hope you enjoy. So first, here's an outline of the topics that will be discussed, and we'll start by defining the Newman Gap, including a detailed explanation of the surrounding airspaces, as well as look at current FAA playbooks for cruising altitudes. Lastly, we'll take a look at thunderstorm climatology for the region and lay out methods the National Weather Service has utilized to improve weather forecasting and flight safety within this corridor. So the Newman Gap is a narrow region of airspace located between the US-Mexico border and the nearly 6,000 square miles of restricted military airspace operated primarily by the White Sands Missile Range, or WSMR, in southern New Mexico. This passage is named from the nearby Newman Vortac, or EWM. It's a 24 nautical mile wide gap, and it resides primarily over the city of El Paso, Texas, and the KELP Terminal Radar Approach Control, or TRACON. It's a choke point in public aviation airspace for the southern US, commonly utilized as a prominent commercial flight path. This constraint causes a convergence of cruising flights through a narrow passage in an effort to save money and time. A significant majority of transcontinental air traffic within the United States utilizes the Newman Gap for access to the southwestern states such as Arizona, Nevada, and California. Eastern US flights from major airports such as Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Orlando, Charlotte often use this route for Western destinations such as Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and Phoenix. There are several common routes included in the latest FAA playbook that utilize the Newman Gap. The airspace over El Paso typically records 300 to 350 cruising flights each day, which makes it a crucial sector for flight traffic management in the United States. And all of this activity occurs above the TRACON and the Class C airspace surrounding El Paso International Airport. The airport itself averages 240 aircraft operations a day with an equal mix of commercial and general aviation users. A total of 88,000 operations and about 2.9 million commercial passengers use this airport annually. So it's a very busy airspace in the United States. So in terms of special use airspace, it's a major limiting factor across much of the US Southwest, given the high numbers of artillery ranges and military training grounds. WSMR in southern New Mexico encompasses almost 3,200 square miles and is the largest military installation in the United States. The main range, defined by restricted areas R5017, B, F, and G, regularly operate from the surface to flight level 999 or unlimited during weekday operations. The McGregor Range Complex to the south, that's R5013, A, B, and C, and lower WSMR, 5017, A and K, are usually active to about flight level 300 or 30,000 feet. The Elephant Butte airspace, R5111 to the west, is restricted for various environmental and operational needs. There are also periodically issued security NOTAMs that occur along the Rio Grande Valley in far west Texas, and they're due to government operations. They only further restrict airspace in this region. So there's a lot of claimed airspace in this area for military and environmental needs. In rare situations when restricted military airspace is unavailable at flight level 300 plus and convection over the Newman Gap forces reroutes, diversions into Mexican airspace may occur. Mexican overflight fees are overseen by the neighboring agency, that's Servicios a la Navegación en el Espacio Aéreo Mexicano, or CENIM, and they're self-imposed costs that airlines and private pilots incur to use the airspace without pre-approved flight plans. The exact cost of overflight depends on the type of the aircraft and the wingspan. However, many commercial Boeing and McDonnell Douglas aircraft can charge up to 40 to 60 pesos per kilometer to fly over Mexican airspace. So this is usually a last resort option, and most pilots and controllers do everything they can to avoid crossing into a foreign border without a pre-approved flight plan. So this is the FAA's current national playbook. It features a heading for westbound transcontinental flights specifically designed for situations when the Newman Gap is not available, and it's titled No EWN ELP. That's No Newman El Paso. It reroutes flights from the Junction and Dallas-Fort Worth corridor in central Texas northwestward toward Corona and Socorro in central New Mexico. Flight controllers then have that option to put flights back on course down in southeastern Arizona, or direct straight to Phoenix or their Las Vegas destinations. This diversion typically adds 100 miles for travel distance to a trip, so it incurs additional airline costs, it increases necessary fuel costs, and it causes delays of future flights at many Southwest U.S. airports. Deep convection and severe thunderstorms are typically the most common causes of air traffic delays in the region. They result in a few days every year where convection is impossible to navigate without diverting from their filed traffic routes. In order for cloud heights and updrafts to reach commercial cruising altitudes, very strong updrafts are needed, and many of these storms contain large hail. Convective cloud tops are by far the most impactful weather type above flight level 250 in this region, and many cumulonimbus clouds can surpass flight level 400. One of the more infamous examples of this occurred on June 4th, 2018, when American Airlines Flight 1897 sustained severe hail damage to the aircraft and was forced to divert to ELP and land. Severe turbulence due to mountain waves or high winds aloft do also occur, but it's much less common at cruising altitudes. By far, in terms of deviating from flight routes, thunderstorms tend to be the most impactful weather phenomena. So climatologically, thunderstorms are most common in El Paso during the North American monsoon season, and it lasts from mid-June through September. I went ahead and ran a 10-year analyzation of METEOR observations at the KELP ASOS to count the number of thunderstorm and lightning reports in routine codes. And this should give us a good idea as to what month and what time of the day thunderstorms are most common. And we learned that thunderstorm coverage along the international border expands greatly during the July and August months, which is typically the height of the monsoon season. This closely mirrors environmental precipitational water derived from upper air soundings. The most common time of the day for convective impacts is the late evening hours, generally from 6 p.m. to midnight local, and that's when peak heating and nearby outflow boundaries increase and intensify thunderstorm activity. A peak occurrence of 9 p.m. is a little later than I thought, and it suggests that impacts will be most common for Southwest U.S. flights that depart in the afternoon hours. It's usually when they're set to arrive at their destination at or around sunset. While the Aviation Weather Center is ultimately responsible for en route convective weather advisories, such as the TCM or SIGMETs, the Center Weather Service Units, or CWSUs, supplement these products with Center Weather Advisories, or CWAs, controller briefings, meteorological impact statements, and flight path decision support. So the question is, what role can forecasters in the WFOs play? Well, in terms of products, mention of Thunder and the TAFs are highlighted on Impact's TAF boards, which are tools used by the regional and national centers for enhanced situational awareness. The introduction of digital aviation services into the public forecast process will soon be ingested into the NDFD display for additional flight planning purposes. Further collaboration with short-term forecasters at the WFO level should be considered during significant impacts when the Newman El Paso corridor is unavailable. So with the utilization of NWS chat, NWS collaboration, and courtesy phone calls. All of this provides enhanced situational awareness for all neighboring agencies and adds perspective and higher understanding of partner needs and thresholds. So again, my name is Connor Dennhardt. You can reach me via my work email and also the virtual poster session this week if you have any questions. Thanks again for listening.